Melanie, good morning and thank you very much for talking to us. I had a quick read of your article on your column on News 24 where you are sharing what you've learned a lot. For you, firstly, when did you know that there was COVID-19 presence in your family?
Hi, Dan, and I hope I'm still waiting for my results, so I'm coughing a bit, so my apologies in the beginning. We're assuming I have it too. We're just waiting for the results, which is taking a very long time at the moment. So my daughter got very ill from it about a week and a bit ago. She spiked a very, very high fever. And she started coughing. She had all the classic symptoms. She also, something that we didn't know at the time, both her and my son started this with very bad diarrhea. And so we assumed, because we had been with quite a big group of foreign guests, that that there is a big chance that she might have it. So we immediately started isolating and told everybody that we'd been in contact with. And then a couple of days later, she got the results that she was indeed positive.
So as soon as about a week ago, so you realized there could be something wrong, you went for testing, and that testing process took longer than usual.
It did. In my daughter's case, it only took 2 days, and she was tested on this, I think it was the 16th. So it was literally the day after the president's announcement. And then on the Monday, my son was tested the next day. Now, it was a different laboratory, but in his case, it took 5 days. We only got the results back yesterday. And in my case, I tested last Thursday morning very early, and it seems like my tests are not even on the machines yet. So when I spoke to the lab this morning.
Okay. How old are your kids?
So they're in their 20s. So they are sort of in the group that is least at risk, really, at this stage.
Okay, and currently they are recovering, they're taking treatment, they're looking after themselves.
They are. The one is with me and the other one is just around the corner from me. And it's very important to say, I think this is the thing that we realized. In my daughter's case, she got extremely ill very, very quickly. Now, her immune system was very run down because she had had a spider bite a few weeks before, so she had been very sick from that. And her immune system was very run down, and she got very sick, very, very sick. And we realized this is no game, even though she was in her early 20s. She had extremely high fever, above 39 degrees for 4 days. Then it broke, and then a very, very bad chest and cough. In my son's case, and presumably in my case as well, we just had like classic, really bad flu-like cold symptoms and sort of on the edge of a flu symptom. But if we had not known about COVID-19 or coronavirus, and if she hadn't been that ill, we would have just assumed that it was just a cold. And this is why it's so incredibly important for people to isolate and to stay away from other people, even when they don't feel really sick, or even if they don't show any symptoms at this stage, because this thing is incredibly infectious. And having seen what it's done to my daughter and how sick she got, if this thing gets to our poorer communities, which you often have very oppressed immune systems, we are going to see an absolute catastrophe in this country.
Yeah, that's been my point, actually, in my intro on the show this morning at 9 o'clock. I'm saying unless stringent measures are put in place, a catastrophe is awaiting us. Currently, we're all waiting for the presidential address, and we are hearing now from the presidency via Jackson Tembe on Twitter that's going to happen tonight. We don't know the time yet. Should we be locking down Gauteng, for example, which is accounting for about half the number of confirmed cases? Because you might be walking around not knowing you've got COVID-19.
Dan, it will have, of course, incredible implications economically for us on the short run. But the point is, if we don't do this now, we could see much bigger implications. We have to do this. We've learned this from international experience. If we shut down now completely And if people actually listen, and, this is the frustrating bit from what I can see even in Cape Town, people are trying to see if they can cheat the government, by ordering more drinks before 6 o'clock in the evenings, before the bars close down. And people think that they can, well, I'm feeling fine, so I'm just quickly going down to the shops. Or, as we know, Minister Zulu's she has apologized, I know, but, thinking you can still go for a quick shopping trip. It is not okay. Let me tell people who now, having been in the eye of the storm for the last week, this is no joke. And I believe what we've seen from international experience, that we have 2 to 3 weeks in South Africa now. If we can get on top of this, then of course we will feel the pain for a short while now in our economy and for our personal lives, etc. If we don't get on top of this in the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we cannot flatten the curve, and people must remember we will get it, lots and lots of people are going to get this. However, what we're trying to do is slow the epidemic down. And people must isolate before this reaches the poorest of the poor. And if we can flatten down the curve of this epidemic, it will mean that our health systems will not get under so much strain, and our doctors will actually be able to cope with this. But, even in my daughter's case, who didn't end up in hospital, the GPs had to keep in touch with her. The hospital where she did test at one of the Mediclinics, they came and they checked up with her again. And I mean, she didn't even need to go into ICU or anything, even though she was extremely sick. So already just that took enormous pressure on the health system. And the system will not cope if hundreds of thousands of us get ill now in the next couple of weeks. And so we all have an extreme obligation for the future of our country, for the future of our economy, for the future of our children's lives, that we actually now do the right thing, shut down. All you need to do is actually stay at home and watch Netflix or TV. And we're not asking you to do much more. And hopefully that will help us in this country to get through this.
Thank you very much. Melanie Verwoerd, former ANC MP, former South African ambassador to Ireland. Her 2 kids in their 20s have got confirmed COVID-19, recovering at home. She's waiting for her results. It's taking longer for those test results to come out now as the pressure grows.